Hello everyone, this is the Gaming Cast, brought to you by Hack The Dino. Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines on my face are getting clearer. The past is gone. I can't remember the rest of the words. Ben Rosenthal, and I am joined here for your video games news, previews, and discussions by one half of the dynamic juice. Sure. Floppy Starrick.
Hello.
Floppy, how's your meal?
Oh, it would be better if I got to finish it.
It's good ASMR. You snacking on that pizza slice? And
good pizza.
What pizza you got? What do you?
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
Old Faithful.
Just cheese and meat?
Just cheese and meat.
Just cheese and meat. On
Bit of herb.
What herb? Actually, don't answer that.
I
We're
probably
live.
don't know.
We're live here on twitch.tv/Hack The Dino. That's right, we record all our shows live. If you can't join us on twitch.tv/Hack The Dino, be sure to head on over to hackthedino.com, where you can follow us on SoundCloud and on Spotify if you don't like looking at our faces, which is perfectly fine. I'm very bald. Or you can catch the VOD. See, we're hip, we're cool, we're not old degenerates.
What does VOD mean?
Video on demand. Over on youtube.com/Hack The Dino. But Floppy and I aren't the only ones here. We are also joined by that enigmatic supreme cheese man, Anto.
Supreme Cheese Man?
Yeah.
He's vegan, dude.
Vegan cheese man. Yeah. You know what I like most about Anto? What I really, really like more than anything?
What?
It's the fact that he doesn't pull his green screen over so we can see into my kitchen.
Yeah, you can't see it. It just looks like Floppy's Life is Strange box is open.
No! I do it.
Wrong way.
No, not that way. That's where I hide all my stuff. There we are. We're back to normal now.
There's the magic of television there, kids.
For the podcast listeners, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What's going on, Anto?
Nothing much. As it's been called out in the chat, got my Sonic shirt on because I'm pretty excited for Frontiers on Tuesday.
They're coming out this week.
It's been pretty easy, pretty good. Had a good week. Kind of tired as always, but you know.
We're at that pointy end of the year where all the games that we've been expecting to come out
Are all coming out within like an hour of each other.
Yeah, so we've got God of War coming out next week as we record this.
Yeah, don't care about that
We're
one.
already getting fantastic reviews. What else has come out recently?
Well, Gotham Knights has come out recently.
Not so fantastic reviews. You played it yet?
No, but so I've been playing Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
But this week has just been a hell of a week with work and like super busy and stressful. And so I've been coming home and like just crashing. And I've wanted to play it and finish it this week to play Gotham Knights. But I played all of about 10 minutes. But I'm going to finish it this weekend. It's going to happen. But I did crack a little bit and I watched the opening cinematic for Gotham Knights.
Oh.
Dude, it was so good.
Yeah?
It was so good. So I'm assuming... I don't think this is a spoiler because everyone knows what the deal is with Gotham Knights and it's not Batman, right?
Correct.
We all know that Batman's dead.
He is.
What? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, crawl back under that rock. I watched the opening cinematic with Batman and Ra's al Ghul in the Batcave fighting to the death.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is unreal. And I was just like, Gah!
I haven't played. So what I do with big games that come out like this, when I know I'm not going to play it, I go, well, spoiler time. And I'll just watch the cutscenes and I'll watch some fights and boss fights and whatnot on YouTube. And that's how I stay informed.
So I'm super stoked to play that.
Yeah.
But then what else have we got coming out? We've got Sonic. We've got God of War. The Mario and Rabbids came out.
Yeah, that's came out. Apparently a very good game.
Yeah.
As my fantasy critic is reflecting.
We've got Evil West coming out at the end of the month,
That's
which
right.
I'm super stoked for.
We were very excited
I'm
about
pretty
that.
sure, is Need for Speed Unbound this month or is it the start of next month?
That's a very good question.
If anything, it's only like a week away from...
We are 2 weeks away from Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I forgot about...
Which is looking great.
I saw a one of the consoles.
Oh, really? I think they're the ugliest console.
There
ugly
is
Switch console.
I really like what the Joy-Cons look like, and I hate the design on the back of the console.
It looks like someone's had a pepperoni pizza, eaten it, and then vomited it back up. True story.
I could have got paid a lot for that.
Look, go and have a look.
But yeah, there is so much stuff coming out.
Yeah, it's a fun time of year and it's Christmas time. So, you know, if you feel like sending us gifts.
We don't have a PO box you can send them to.
No, we don't. So
Send them to Ben's place.
No one knows where I live. The best
Address is
gift-
coming on the bottom of the screen.
Nope. So the best thing you can do is just spend it on yourself. Buy yourself a game. And then record a review and send it in to us, and we'll play it and use it as content. And then reap the ad revenue.
I just realised where you went with that.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Anto, what have you been playing?
Pretty standard for me. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV. Coda and I have finished the 3rd expansion, Shadowbringers.
Shadowbringers.
Shocked to both of you.
Come over here. No, come on. Wait.
He's bringing a shadow over.
It's
Oh, I
it's
see.
A
I
party.
didn't quite get the bit.
What are you doing over there?
It's a Ben bit. You know it's going to be
Come over
lame.
here, little shadow. I'm going to sew you to my feet like Peter Pan next time if you don't behave. Shadows, man.
Yeah,
Well-
like this is a weird declaration to make, and you both might be kind of shocked. I think it's the best bit of video game that I've played in the last maybe 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
Like,
What makes
beats
it good?
out 7 Remake. And that's because the story, like just the plot, is absolutely incredible. The dungeon design was amazing. Gameplay is fantastic. The music hits levels that are above and beyond anything else I've listened to in the last,
There's
again, 5
music
to
in
10
video
years.
games?
It's just a hell of an experience, and I don't really know how it's going to get much better, but apparently the next expansion does get better, and we're going to start that soon. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Do the shadows bring it?
No,
throw
they're
down?
looking to
Do
the
they come in
end.
there and be like, bring it?
That's right. And then they do shadow boxing.
No, then they do cheerleading.
You didn't get my awesome
Yeah.
pun.
You didn't get mine.
That's pretty much all I've been doing.
It wasn't a pun.
Sorry, Anto.
It was punful. That's painful. It's a pun.
Oh, I
as well.
picked some stuff up this week.
Oh yeah. What'd you pick up? What'd you grab?
I picked up a few things. Literally today only, because I've been talking about it with a friend, and then I fortuitously found it in an op shop. I found Virtue's Last Reward.
You also picked up something that's behind Anto.
I did. If Anto could just duck down for a little bit.
Just disappear. Like
I
you got
picked
that
up.
button.
Now,
There we
first
go.
of all, thanks to Ben for the heads up. Snake's Revenge from a seller online who was selling it at a really good price. I've
Metal
never
Gear.
owned Snake's Revenge.
So the story was I was perusing Facebook Marketplace as I usually do, and Snake's Revenge popped up, which I already have, for an incredibly good price. So I messaged Floppy, and I think in all capitals just wrote, good price! And then...
So yeah, thank you to Ben for the heads up, and thank you to V for doing the legwork and going and picking it up because it was way down
Oh,
south.
you did nothing.
I did nothing. No, that's not true. I paid for it.
Oh, man.
I paid for it.
That's pretty cool. So if you would like to get on Ben's list of finding cheap games, head on over to our Patreon.
Oh, there's one other thing that came out that I picked up.
Oh, yeah?
The giant freaking thing on the counter here.
What? I didn't even notice that.
I got my Bayonetta 3 Collector's Edition.
Yep.
And it is one of my favourite collector's editions in the fact that they've built it with display in mind. So when you take out, I won't do it now, but you can take out the inner box and it's got not one case for Bayonetta 3. It's got 3 cases because it gives you a similarly themed case for 1 and 2.
Now, you bought Bayonetta 2 on the Switch and you got a download code
Yes,
for one?
yes, correct.
But
When
can
they
you
first
buy
came
one?
out, you can buy one now. It came out this year on its own. So
Right.
you can now put your Bayonetta 2 and 1 cartridges in the similarly themed cases, and the actual insert on the box, which has the art book in it as well, has a fold-out flap on the back to turn it into a display case.
That's pretty cool. Actually,
It is
you
so well thought out.
pulled it, you took it out before, and then you unboxed the case.
Yeah.
And it was very, very nice. Like, I was very impressed with the quality of it and
Yeah.
the way they've got that counterbalance with the collector's book and everything.
And I haven't played the game yet, but supposedly,
Have you played the other Bayonettas?
yes.
Good? Good
Yeah,
time?
yeah, great time. Lots of fun. Always good fun.
Anto, Bayonetta seems like a you game.
From a gameplay perspective, I think they're really, really fun. Story-wise, I don't remember a huge amount about them.
Because
but
you're just doing things with gun shoes.
I mean, the gunshoe part is super cool.
So awesome.
What about the hair clothes?
Yeah, the hair clothes bit, I'm not, whatever in-universe reasoning is fine.
I don't know. You know what? We have barbarians in tiny little
Yeah,
loincloths with butt
I don't
flaps.
know.
I'm cool with it all.
It's something that I played the first one back when it came out on 360 and PS3.
And Dreamcast.
Oh, really?
One of the Sega consoles.
What?
It didn't. I'm lying.
I was going to say. But yeah, no, I played 1. I didn't play 2 because I didn't get a Wii U until well after it was released and I couldn't find a copy of it. And I'm probably just not going to bother with this one because Metal Gear Rising exists and I think that's the best action game ever made.
Metal Gear. Cool. So
What have you been doing?
I've been playing a mobile game.
Gross.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Well, I've been playing a couple of games, but one of them...
Snake.
So I went and visited Braden at Greenlight Comics last weekend because we're purchasing some stuff from Braden, which will be here at some point that we will show and tell. But Braden said to me, have you been playing Marvel Snap? And I said, no, I'm not a card person. I don't like card games. I'm not a fan of them at all. I like
Until
collecting
now.
cards. And they said, oh, it's very good. No, I know, all right. So I went home and then I sent Braden a message and said, I'm downloading Marvel Snap, Braden. If I don't like it, I'm holding you personally responsible. It's actually a pretty cool game. Like it's a strategic card game, but unlike other card games, from what I'm led to believe, is both players make their move at the same time.
Okay.
So it's sort of like you can have a strategy, but you don't know what the strategy of the other person is. So you have to try and work out what their strategy is. So it's basically putting cards down with a point of them, which also have buffs for certain other things. And you have 3 separate places you can put them. And these 3 separate places may have other buffs or debuffs depending on what cards get placed down. And you have to win 2 out of the 3 zones. It's very, very simple. The Marvel thing is just like they have Marvel characters on there as a gimmick in order to get you to pay attention.
Marvel, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's pretty fun. Like I'll sit there and go, oh, I'll just play a game. Oh, I'll just play another. All right, I'll just play another game. Now, I'm
And
either
it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
really good at it or I'm still on baby mode because I'm winning like all my matches. So I don't...
Hasn't realised that it's still in training.
Yeah, I'm still in the tutorial. I'm up against the computer. So yeah, it's a fun time. It's one of those games you can sit there and just play a couple of games and jump out. Each game takes maybe 5 minutes max.
Well, okay.
So it's a real easy thing. They do have, battle pass that you can buy to like dress up your cards. Or you can just play it for free, which is great, which is what I think these games should be. Have the option there to spend money, and if you don't want to, then don't. Like, for example, Pokemon Go, you can play without spending $1.
You can spend money on Pokemon Go?
Well, yeah, you can buy more storage, more
I had no
gold,
idea.
more various cosmetics.
Storage
Their
for
event
what?
tickets are expensive.
Like the tickets, like I pay $22 a year or something to do their big Pokemon Go thing. But I play that game each day, and I've played it each day it's come out for the past 6 years. So I'm quite happy to throw $20 bucks once a year to add them,
yeah, that's cool.
considering the amount of pleasure I get out of it. So yeah, Marvel Snap's really good. Give it a go.
Didn't know it was that kind of game.
After talking about it last show, or one of our previous shows, now I got this name wrong, so Anto will correct me. I call it Akane, but Anto, it was Akane? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
I've got a video. Actually, I've got videos for all these, Anto, if you want to maybe bring them up. But Akane, I decided to jump into again. This time I had the music on, and it made the game so much better.
You didn't play with music before?
No, I had it down low because it was late at night and I didn't want to wake up anyone. I say late at night, it was probably like 10 o'clock. So I was playing that, and with the music, this soundtrack is amazing. It's this synth cyberpunk type soundtrack.
I like that.
And the game, if you haven't seen it, well, you can see it on screen now.
Oh, we did see this last week.
Yeah, top down, you're a samurai, and it's just a horde rush. You're in this little melee area, and you just have to slice the other gangsters down, the Yakuza gangsters, with your samurai sword. You get combo bonuses. You get people coming out with guns. You have to get them before they shoot you. Then there's a boss after 100.
Is there an end?
It's endless. You die. The respawn is instantaneous as well. So if you die, your stats will come up and you just go restart and you just jump straight back in from the start.
What's the point?
The point is to see how far you can get, see how many bosses you can kill.
I don't think I like that.
It's so good though because there is no.
I like everything else about it.
It's as Michael Towns in the live chat has just said, smash TV with a sword. And an amazing soundtrack, Townsy. The soundtrack just brought it all together for me.
Townsy.
What I really like as well is you can't just endlessly run and slash. You run out of stamina. You got a little stamina bar. So there are times where you have to run around all the enemies in order for your stamina to get back up and then attack them again.
So
Yeah.
run around a thing.
It's great. And then you've got special moves that you can use. You've also got a gun with limited bullets as well.
Nice.
And you have to aim them. It's really well made. And I got it when it was on special for like $1.50. Normal price is $7.50 on the Nintendo eShop over here
$1.50
in
be good.
Australia. I picked it up for $1.50. It's quite often back on there for $1.50. I'll keep an eye out for it. When it's there again, I highly recommend everyone getting it because it's just a really cool, fun game. Again, another game. I like games you can jump in and jump out whenever.
Yeah.
You can play for a couple of times and jump out, which is not the next game that I've been playing. Now, if you're a member of our Hack the Dino Discord, which you can head on over to hackthedino.com and click on the Discord link, it'll take you right there. It's free to join. I put the call out to our Discord people what game I should play, what retro Nintendo game I should have jumped on. And Game Boy Dad suggested that I give Metroid Prime a go. And I went, you know what?
Have you ever played it?
No.
Okay, so this is your first
This
time
is my
playing through.
first time playing it.
I'm interested to see what you think. So
Besides the
I'm going to embark on this
controls
soon.
being like GoldenEye controls.
Okay.
So, you have to hold a button to strafe and all that. And the second...
Yeah, it's just generational.
Yeah, but apart from that, it's a really thought out, really well developed game. Like, one thing I loved about it is I never got lost. Like, even though it wasn't holding your hand, you went in the right way, in the right direction.
I will say the one Metroid game that I've played and finished, one of the best map systems ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, I get really funny with good maps. Like I need a good map.
Yep.
I need to be able to read it properly. I need to be able to orientate myself. I really like it when a map works well.
Yeah. And this, I think...
It's a weird thing to get funny over, but...
Yeah, so I've probably played maybe
Is this
5
your
hours.
footage?
No. I think this was an HDMI one because it's very clean. Yeah, game's great. Who would have thought that Game of the Year 2001 is a really good game?
Well, I don't know. 2018's Game of the Year.
Oh, 2018 was it?
No, that was God of War.
Oh, what am I thinking?
No, you're right.
2001.
You're right. No, you're right. I was just saying, just because it got Game of the Year doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Okay, well, God of War's pretty good. Anto?
It's boring as hell.
Anto?
I was just going to say, like, your comment about GoldenEye controls, I never got the impression that it was similar to GoldenEye when I played it, but I also didn't play a huge amount of GoldenEye.
Well, GoldenEye was different because you had the C buttons to strafe.
Yeah.
And I used to get really good at it. But, yeah, I mean, I play a lot of Fortnite. And instantaneously, I just want to use the 2 thumbsticks. And there is another thumbstick on the GameCube controller, and you can't use it.
You can, but later on.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Spoilers!
Oh,
Spoilers!
Spoiler!
No, it's not a spoiler, because I'm not describing anything it does.
Anyway, it's a cool game. And it follows the old Metroid trope of you start the game and you've got everything. And then it all gets taken away from you. And that's really, really cool. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Cool. So is that it? We're done with playings and pickups and
Yep.
all sorts of things?
Think so.
Let's crack on to a little bit of news.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Beep, 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 beep. It came out today, I guess. So as we're recording this, it's a Friday. PlayStation VR 2 has a launch date and price.
Ooh, exciting.
So February 22nd, 2023 is when PSVR 2 will find its way to our shores. It's going to cost a lot of money.
Before you say this, no, it's not.
All right, well, we'll talk about this in a minute. So PSVR 2 will cost, in Australian dollars, $880, which is about $550 in the US. Now, I know what you're going to say, Floppy, that in order to play a Oculus or something like that, which is...
I wouldn't even say Oculus. I would say this is going to be better than an Oculus.
What about a Valve?
I would say HTC Vive or something like that, which is comparable to this now.
Okay. And what do they retail for?
About $1,600.
Wow. Okay, so, maybe not so bad.
Plus, you need a $3,000 PC to run it.
Exactly. So, you've got
No, you don't.
your $550 PlayStation 5. Is it still $550? The PS5, if you can find one?
$550. $799.
$799. All right, so you're buying another console, which, fair enough, it is another console. But if you want to play a game on your brand new purchase VR2, you're going to have to purchase maybe the Horizon VR bundle, which is $960 Australian. If you're thinking, oh, that's all right, I'll just play one of my old VR games from PlayStation VR 1. No, you won't, because none of the games are backwards compatible. So
That I thought was a bit weird, considering the PS5 is backwards compatible.
Yeah. It's if you want to play a game on PSVR 2 on launch, it's going to set you back $960. Anto, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's ridiculous that something that is basically an accessory for a system costs more than the system.
Yep.
Like, regardless of, what the cost of the hardware is, they're still,
Even though, say, like a Vive is $1,600 for an accessory for a system, that's cost you five times as much.
600, which would run on a $600 PC. So you don't need to spend thousands to get VR working if you want to experience it. Like, you could buy a PlayStation 4 and PSVR 1, and that would probably set you back like $600 these days for the whole kit. So, like, entry-level VR is actually cheap and really easy to get into. This is going up against, like, the Valve Index, which is probably the more expensive, like, most detailed VR you can buy now. People are going to buy it regardless. Like, people who want to jump into VR will get it, and go for them. Like, that's fine. If you've got the money to do it, go for it.
I think it's the cheapest, most affordable, and probably smartest way to get into VR. Because you're not buying just a VR unit for $600. You're buying a PS5, which you'll use for a monumentous amount of other games.
Yeah, like, it's... I think I'd be happier about it if, as Ben said, if it was backwards compatible with other stuff you've bought, because
give you
there's going to be either an upgrade path for, like, stuff like Superhot and Beat Saber. If they don't do something where you pay like $5 to upgrade your existing purchase to a PS5 enabled version.
Anto, could you just
eat that mic for us?
Point your microphone at your mouth.
Yeah. If they don't do like a cheap upgrade path to make stuff better for PS5 and they force you to buy the games again, it's going to be dumb. But yeah, that's my opinion. I just flat out can't afford one until they drop that price.
Oh, I can't afford one either.
Nor can I.
No way can afford one. But I would say,
Mr. PlayStation, if you'd like an honest review, send one over, care of Hack the Dino Gaming Cast. We'll put it through its paces, and I'll almost
Definitely.
punch Lockie in the
Lockie?
Floppy in the face again.
Yeah, super hot.
Good times.
Yeah, no, I 100%. I think that it is. Yes, it is expensive, but I think it is warranted. I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
In the end, I think we'll just find out when it launches as to whether it is indeed
exactly.
worth that much, because people will buy it or they won't buy it. How was the uptake of the PSVR 1? Did it take a while for it to catch on and start selling units?
Yeah, because it was even that one when it was like what 400 and something bucks, $500.
Yeah, I think it was between 400 and 500
Yeah,
depending on the bundle you bought.
It's still a lot of money to spend on something that you're not sure if you're going to really enjoy.
Or make you violently ill.
Yeah,
motion sickness.
which is why I think it's the best way to do for entry level, because you're not going to spend $3,000 on a PC and a high level thing to find out you don't like it.
Game Boy Dad in the chat has just asked whether Superhot VR is on sale and if it's worth it. Yes, it's probably the best VR game you can buy.
Get it.
It's absolutely a bunch of fun, and I cannot recommend it enough.
If you have VR. It is so much. It is one of the. I think that and Beat Saber make VR so much worth it. It's so much fun and replayability.
Yep. So if you're interested, pre-orders open November 15. You know what you can do with money when you
give
have
it to Floppy.
No.
Oh.
You can give it to Phil Spencer, because he has officially gone on record in an interview and said that Xbox loses $200 US on every console sold.
Not surprised.
Well, I mean, it was known that Xbox does. Nintendo has gone out and said that they never do that, because they did it once and would never do it again.
And PlayStation, I think, just sell it at cost or something? Or
PlayStation, I've got a little bit on PlayStation here, which we'll go into a bit. But according to Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, Microsoft loses as much as $200 on every Xbox it sells. According to CNBC, Spencer recently disclosed that Microsoft subsidies the production cost of a new Xbox by about $100 to $200 per console. Man, I'm doing well tonight.
That's double or half. That's a big difference.
That is. Here we go. Quote, consoles are actually sold at a loss in the market. So when somebody goes and they buy an Xbox at their local retailer, we're subsidizing that purchase somewhere between $100 and $200, with the expectation that we will recoup that investment over time through accessory sales and the Xbox storefront. So, of course, their first-party games.
Yeah, of course. Game Pass as well.
Game Pass, which he said Game Pass is very profitable.
Controllers,
Makes
headsets.
up for about 15% of their business at the moment,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Microsoft expects, which I've already just said, just for reference, the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge and the Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers have been positioned as profit-recovering peripherals.
Have you seen the price of these things?
That's why I guess they're profit-recovering peripherals.
That PlayStation one looks amazing, but I'm not paying over $300 for a controller.
So even though Microsoft loses money on every Xbox it sells, Xbox made more money in the past 3 months than ever before during quarter one in the company's 20-year history.
That's because they didn't sell many Xboxes, mate.
You think?
100%.
Because they didn't sell many Xboxes and
I would say...
they still sold millions.
In the last quarter, I would go on record almost as saying there has been very, very few Xboxes around
Right.
in retail compared to, say, like PlayStations at least.
Are they a bit more readily available now?
Xboxes or PlayStations?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you think Christmas time you'll be able to walk in and just pick one up off the shelf?
No. But that doesn't make them not
very
readily available.
optimistic.
That doesn't make them not readily available. That's just a different way of buying.
Now, you asked before if Sony said they sell at a cost or whatnot.
Yeah.
Sony has said their base PS5 model does not sell at a loss. That's all they've said.
So it's probably like $1 or
Yeah.
at cost.
At cost, yeah. It was also said that Xbox's prices may go up after the holiday season. Spencer said that. So remember when Sony put up their prices and Phil Spencer came out and said, we're not going to do that. And he's going, yeah.
He meant, not yet.
Yeah, no, didn't he go on record and say not necessarily that the hardware would go up, but something would have to go up cost-wise, whether it be Game Pass,
I
games?
assume Game Pass will go up.
I think he's
Yeah.
better off putting the consoles up.
You reckon?
Yeah, because people are going to buy them anyway. Game Pass going up. You got that many more people buying Game Pass. Don't put that up. Keep that. That's already making a profit.
Yep.
Keep it. Put the consoles up because people need the consoles. They're going to buy the consoles.
Yeah.
Just
Get them into the market. Like, and
make
that's what
money
they're
on it.
trying to do.
And
Like,
then,
if you make that ceiling to entry too high, people are just going to, like, I am a parent, but if my child wanted, a PlayStation, a Switch, or an Xbox, and you've got 500, 300, I'm going to go the $300 option.
So what are they now? At the moment, we've got $799, $749, and $539.
Is that how much an OLED costs?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Is
Wow,
OLED
that's
that much?
expensive.
It's been like that since launch.
Did I spend that much on an OLED?
I don't know, did you?
I don't know. I've got one.
Like
so
that
I
guy in
must
the
have.
back of the truck told me it was the retail price.
What's a Nintendo Swatch?
What's a QLED? What's a QLUD?
Yeah, interesting to see where it goes. I've very high hopes for all of it.
I'd like to congratulate Game Boy Dad in the live chat for purchasing Superhot VR from the PS app while watching Hack the Dino.
Oh, well, there you
You're
go.
in for a good time once the show finishes.
Yeah, just make sure you stay around for more advice and deals coming later on.
Yes.
You'll get some more good deals that you can buy now with good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, you know what's not so good?
What?
When you save up your hard-earned money and you go out and buy the brand new old Pokemon game or a game that you've wanted for a long, long time, and you bring it home and it says, this is a bootleg.
It says this is a bootleg?
No, it
You
doesn't.
should probably not have bought that one.
No. And the label's drawn with crayon. No,
Wonder why it said Pokemon.
that is the wrong franchise.
Correct.
I'm going to teach you how to make sure that you're buying a legit Nintendo cartridge.
That's good because I have no idea.
So I've got here, I've made a couple of dot points for each of the main cartridges of retro games from the old Nintendo systems, and I thought that I would pass on to everyone out there who actually wants to hear me ramble on about Nintendo, what I use and how I determine whether a cartridge is fake or if it's the real deal. So we're going to start off with the Nintendo, the NES, and the Super Nintendo. So to start off, I don't really have any pictures, so you're just going to have to go through your head with this one. Or Anto might be able to find some, or a video I've got there as I'm rambling.
I did want to ask very quickly, the video that we're using that you've linked.
Yes.
Are we cool with using that video? Do you think he'll mind?
Who was it?
Is it
Metal
me?
Jesus.
Sorry?
Metal Jesus.
Well, look, I'll get on the phone to him and ask him.
Metal Jesus, we love you, but we're using your video footage.
I think
Well-
Metal Jesus is great. I watch like every video of his.
Yeah, exactly. He's into video game preservation. We're not making any money off this. Plus, Kelsey Lewin's on it, and she's awesome. She's one of the
Time to
co-founders
kill.
of the Video Game History Foundation, and she owns a retro video game store.
Hey.
After you've watched us, check out Metal Jesus' videos. They're really entertaining, and he has great opinions, in my opinion.
So, a safety label and Nintendo logo are pressed into the back of each Super Nintendo cart. So, even this NES one here, we can see at the back, there is, down the bottom there, if you've got an NES or a SNES thing at home, you can see pressed in, there's the Nintendo logo, and there will always be a sticker on the back with safety instructions. What to do, what not to do. Do
Wear
not
a
put
hard hat.
it, in a fire. Do not throw it in the bin. Don't garbage disposal it. Each cart will have metal screws holding the cart together, not plastic. In fact, these plastic screws aren't real at all, and you can pop the cart open with your hands. So on NES and on Super Nintendo as well as the Nintendo 64, you will have, what are they called? They're called octo screws or something like that.
Yeah,
You need
like safety screws.
a tri-point screwdriver in order to undo them. NES carts, you will find 3, or if you've got a first release of one of the ones that came out, you'll have 5, which is 5 screw cartridges, which we've been through before. These will actually be plastic, or they will be actual like Phillips head screws that people have put in. They are not like this hexagonal screw in there that you need a specific screwdriver in order to.
Yeah, if you can undo it easily, prob's not real.
And also you can just pop it open like that.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not going to do that.
They love it when you do that in shops. Start testing them.
Yeah. Oh, they love it even more when King Kaiju was selling a very expensive game once, and the guy came to pick it up, and he wanted to undo it in front of him before he handed over the money. And Osty said, "Take it home. If it's fake, come back, and I'll give you back your money." For expensive games, all Super Nintendo boards should say Nintendo and the year they were made somewhere on the board, and should feature a serial code, which is what we can see on screen right now. This code can appear on multiple different SNES games, but you can take this code, search it on the SNES Central database, which is a website you can go to, and you can find if the game you are buying was ever produced with that type of board. So you can actually go on a site on your phone, search up the serial number, and see if there is correct serial number for the game.
There you
Very, very important to do that sort of thing. Again, you want to pop open the case in order to do that. Now, if you're buying a box game, the cardboard of the box game would be a grey kind of fibrous texture to it. Nearly all the games released for the NES were printed on this type of board. So, you know, sometimes you see really nice,
Really crisp white.
boards. They've got a gloss to it. Generally,
Reprint.
they're fake. You need to have this grey, fibery type look to it. Any questions so far on the NES and Super NES games?
No, I think that sounds good.
Yep. Yes.
I've got a fake cartridge.
Oh, do you?
Anto has too. We both got fake Pokemon cartridges. We knew this upon purchase, though, I think. Didn't
Yes. Well,
I
see,
don't
I've
even
got
know how I got mine.
I've got mine at the front there. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but it's the Master Quests
we? Yeah.
that came out on the GameCube. So all someone's done is got a actual cart, flash the game, rip the game off the disc from the GameCube, flash it onto a cart, and now I can play it on my Nintendo 64.
Nice.
Which is pretty good. Or it's probably just a ROM hack. In fact, it's probably just a ROM hack. I'm just lying. It's a ROM hack. Whatever. Speaking of Nintendo 64, how we can tell whether a game is fake? Well, for starters, it didn't release on the system.
If it says Final Fantasy 14
That's a good indicator.
on a Nintendo 64 cartridge, fake.
Fake Nintendo 64 games tend to be more
that's
rounded
Game Boy.
in their rather than their legitimate equivalents. So, what do I mean there?
What did you mean
actual
there?
case, a fake case. So if you get a fake Nintendo 64 case, they're a bit more
Do you mean, when you say case, do you mean like the actual case of the cartridge?
the cartridge case.
Yep.
It's more rounded on the top as opposed to it's a slight straight bit
And then it
before
just comes
hits.
straight down at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fake ones have got a little bit more round to them. Legit game boards will have a year and Nintendo imprinted on the board. This is the same with the NES and SNES games as well. If you look inside the cartridge, right above and below where the game pin connector is located, on a legit version, you'll see an alphanumeric product code stamped into the shell. So I'm not talking about the board, I'm talking about the shell that the game comes in, the actual cart case. The top shell has a 4-digit stamp on it, generally F or A 55, and the bottom has a smaller 3-digit stamp of B-32.
Remember that, kids? B-32.
Again, you can put this sort of stuff down in your phone and have a look at it, but you do have to take it apart to see it or sort of angle it. And labels are often miscut or look off. I think that's a big one, especially with all Nintendo kart games. If a label looks a bit...
I think we've established through bad game arts a lot of labels look off. It doesn't necessarily mean it's fake.
Specifically Nintendo
Swords
ones.
in his ass.
One thing maybe I'll bring up in the Game Boy section, we can see on screen now them going through 2 Pokemon Yellow games. And they were showing the batteries. One's in casing, one isn't. The actual ones don't have a casing that the battery sits in. And it's also much, much smaller.
So this is all really handy if you've got the cartridge at home, but maybe not so much if you're in a shop looking at a cartridge.
Not so much, but if you have, I'm assuming if you're in a shop, you're able to pick them up.
Yeah.
And sort of look and investigate.
I guess a lot of the Pokemon ones were kind of like a translucent too, weren't they?
Well, see, the Pokemon became very, very popular to bootleg because people wanted to play them. I've got a Fire Red bootleg around somewhere. Generally, the saves don't work or don't last too long because the battery doesn't work.
Okay.
The labels, I think, are the biggest giveaway. Like, they're stretched. A lot of the Game Boy ones won't say Game Boy up the top. They'll say Game.
I think I've got a few of those.
Yeah.
Like the 300 games in one.
Look, the way to be sure is to open it up.
Yeah.
But if you can't open it up, then it's just use... Look, we can see on the screen now 4 Emerald versions. Obviously, one's fake because it's a normal grey cart. Mm-hmm. And then the other ones, you can see, like, the colours are slightly off.
But which one's right?
The top left-hand corner. So that one there is clearly not right. So moving on to Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. So again, similar to the Super Nintendo and the NES and the Nintendo 64, labels in cart color are always big indicators. So again, if it's looking slightly stretched, if it doesn't look as sharp and clean as a label generally would, every Game Boy Advance cartridge features the game's unique logo, maybe a picture of the character. Then the standard Nintendo logo, the seal of quality, and the appropriate rating symbol and product number. All those things have to be on there, and you always want to check the spelling. Because a lot of these times, these bootlegs are made in non-English speaking countries, and they do get English language grammar incorrections.
Mixed up?
Yeah. So it's not the most legitimate way to make it. I don't know what I'm saying. Each and every authentic Game Boy Advance game also has a number stamped onto its label, which can be hard to spot at a glance, but visible by angling the cartridge to the light. So these are specifically the Game Boy Advance ones. If you have a Game Boy Advance cartridge and you angle it slightly, you will see an impression of a number. It'll be like 42 or 24, and I think that's your batch number. And if you angle it, you can't see it when you're looking front on.
Okay.
But angling it, you'll be able to see it indented in the label.
Yeah.
And that's a relatively easy way to see whether it's legit or not. Again, opening up the cart is still the best way to see if it's fake. Use tools like the iFixit Pro Tech Toolkit, which is what we saw Kelsey holding up before, those screwdrivers, in order to open them up. So I'm just listing very fast. Do you have any questions? I'm just rambling.
I don't know. I'm going to guess with... I'm probably... Myself is probably more interested in how you can figure out if they're fake, or a good indication of they're fake by looking at them on the outside without opening them up, because that's where I get caught. Like, I see them out in the wild and I'm like, I want to know if that's fake or not.
Okay.
Might not be able to pick it up, might not have that option.
Okay.
So with Game Boy Advance, for instance, you were saying color of the cart.
Yep.
The kind of label, obviously. What's that they're pointing at there?
So that's 1993.
No. Okay.
Okay, so again, those spelling errors on the carts.
The amazing year of 19,993.
That's right. We went into the future a long, long way in order to get this copy of Doom 2. Yeah. So opening up, obviously people don't want to open it up, especially in the middle of the store. So I think those little indents that you can find on the labels are very, very...
And is that the ones you were talking about when you get them in the right light?
Yeah, you hold it in the right light.
So you
and
can
it'll
probably do
come
that. How often do you come across bootleg ones in the wild?
A lot.
Yeah?
A lot.
Is it always like that generation, Game Boy?
Game Boy, like specifically Game Boy games where you can find heaps of bootlegs and fakes all over the world. You find them very, very regularly.
Yeah, right.
Not so much NES. You don't find a lot of NES. It's usually you find them online. People trying to flog off expensive games. More specifically with the Super Nintendo. So your Chrono Triggers, your Earthbounds, your Secret of Mana, all your really, they're Pocky and Rocky.
And they're what? They're ROMs?
Well, yeah, they basically flash it onto a cartridge and case it up and try and sell it. So some people, and this is why you need to crack it open. Some people have been known to buy a legit copy from, say, a porn store or something like that. Take it home.
PAWN.
Yep. And take back a bootleg and return it and say, it was
fake.
This game doesn't work. It's fake. And if the porn store isn't up on their knowledge, which in my
should be
interactions, a majority of porn stores who sell this type of stuff, they basically look on eBay and go, oh yeah, it's about that price. And it boots up and it works. And a lot of these games will boot up. It's whether you've got the game that you actually paid for on the card. Because that's the other thing people do is they swap the chipset around.
Yeah, right.
And so you've got the expensive cart and then not the game. And then a lot of people do a lot of dodgy stuff in order to make money, save money.
Is this a situation where sometimes a bootleg become more valuable for any particular reason?
I don't think they'll become more valuable. I personally love bootlegs because they're funny as hell sometimes.
So look, we've played Anto's bootleg copy of, was it Crystal?
Pokemon Crystal, yes.
Crystal. That was funny, wasn't it? I can't remember why.
It's hilarious because the ROM itself was originally translated from English into Chinese Mandarin, then translated into Vietnamese, back to English, then back to Vietnamese.
Wow.
So...
A little bit lost in translation, mate.
Very lost in translation.
Just in the live chat, resident Game Boy dev Michael Towns from Game Boy Games has said NES, SNES, and Nintendo 64 are way more expensive to bootleg, while Game Boy costs them like 2 cents.
Really?
So there you go. That's why Game Boy games are... not Game Boy games.
Game Boy games?
That's why Game Boy cartridges are easy to find bootlegged in the wild.
Not Game Boy games, our friend of the show.
Now, what I was speaking before about Fire Red and Leaf Green, or the Game Boy Advance games. So an easy way to tell on the back of these particular carts, because they're slightly transparent.
Yes.
And they're red and they're green. If you flip it over on the back, there should be 4 gold squares. And that will tell you whether it's a legit copy or not.
Gold squares like a sticker?
No, so you'll be able to see through the case.
Mm-hmm.
On
the circuit board.
Yeah, you know how they're sort of transparent? Yeah,
Yep.
So on the circuit board, when you flip it over, in the top left-hand corner, I think, there are 4 gold squares you should be able to see.
And what's this one for?
This is for Leaf Red and... Leaf Green and Fire Red.
Just those particular games or that generation?
Those particular games, definitely. Any cartridge that you can see through, which I don't think were many other ones other than those 2.
You couldn't see through yellow, could you?
No. That was
like an
hard.
opaque.
The only see-through ones from memory, and Ben's probably more right than me, I remember Crystal being somewhat translucent.
Yep, but that was...
That was a Game Boy Color cartridge.
Game Boy, but yeah, also worked on Game Boy Color, yep.
And then it was Sapphire... Was it Sapphire and Ruby? Leaf Green? Fire
Correct,
Red?
they're not that see-through though.
Yeah.
But you should be able to pick up the little... you might see circles. Don't go for the circles. Circles means it's a bootleg.
Okay.
Now, another system that had a lot of hijacked and illegal games was the Nintendo DS games.
I didn't realize this, eh?
Really?
No.
Apparently these were really... is that your copy, Anto? We can see on screen?
Yeah, this is the Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal that I've got. we did test this using your epilogue, and it absolutely is not a genuine cartridge.
Not at all.
I remember it being funny, but I can't remember why.
It's funny because the translation's really bad. Like, when you get an item, instead of saying you put the item in a bag, it's your character's name. Like, say you pick up a potion, it's character's name, drug, bag, expletive.
It's pretty funny.
So it's like that throughout the whole game as well. Like, I've played a good couple of hours of it, and it doesn't get any better. It just stays funny.
So I wish I'd never played a Pokemon game, and you convinced me to stream that as my first Pokemon game, and led me to believe it was a real one.
Anto, can we just bring that back up, please?
Yes. I was going to show you guys quickly the comparison between a genuine cart and this as well.
Okay, go for it.
Where is it? Where did I put it? It's in Discord.
Have you checked?
Anyway,
Oh, no.
Here you go.
Oh, you got it? Okay, so for the podcast listeners, we are looking at the backs of 2 games. So on the left there, you can see a sticker that says "Don't open," and then it's
Don't open. You'll see it's a bootleg.
you can see it's got a spot where a screw should be, and it's also got a spot where it should have a serial number imprinted on. And then on the right, we can see is that a legit one on the right there, Anto?
Yeah, so that one is a copy of Yoshi. That's the weird Goomba monster stacking game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the only quick legit one that I could find.
It's almost like they've 3D printed the case, but then they haven't added the details.
Yeah, well, I think the most telling thing is the screw. So they've put a sticker over where the screw should be, so you can't see that it's actually a fake screw.
Yeah.
Or just like a normal star.
Don't open upon risk of disappointment.
Don't open, otherwise, you'll find out that it's bootleg. So moving on to the DS. On the bottom of the label, you can find a string of letters and numbers starting with NTR, which stands for Nitro, which was the DS's original code name.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit name.
Do you know what the Wii was?
No.
Revolution. Do you remember what the GameCube was?
Dolphin.
Dolphin.
I did know that one, actually. I didn't
Wasn't
know the
that
game.
why,
I didn't know the Wii was Revolution, but that makes sense.
Wasn't Dolphin why Super Mario Sunshine's island was called Isle Delfino?
Correct.
What was the Wii U?
Failure.
That one was Project Cafe.
Oh, it was too.
Project Cafe.
Forgot about that.
Well, there's your reason it failed.
Do you remember what the Switch was called?
Oh.
Oh, yes.
I'll remember when I hear it.
No, I don't remember what it was, but I know it.
Yeah, well,
I like Michael Towns in the chat. The Wii U was
that's
named
the one.
Project Whoopsie.
NX.
Was the Switch.
Correct. Okay, so going back to DS games, which you can see here on the screen, every copy should have the same code of this NTR. Unless a revision was released, you may have a number 1 tagged on the end. So you need to have those little codes right down the bottom. On the back of the cartridge, you'll find another code that should start with the same product number found on the front. Fake DS games had M8 etched near the top of the prongs. However, I've written that wrong. However, some fakers have started to place NB there, which
Can't
could mean
get good help.
Okay, so fake carts have M8 etched in there, and some have put NB there as well now to try and sort of start fooling people.
Warner Brothers.
Labels may not be as glossy or missing some effects, such as the Pokemon DS games. So the Pokemon DS games had sort of like a sparkle effect going across them.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
and that's
Was
very
that
hard
just
to replicate.
in the plastic?
So sort of like
NB not bootlegged.
So much like if you've ever seen Australian currency for our non-US listeners and watchers, the currency over here in Australia, the notes have effects through them, and they're all made of plastic, and that makes them very hard to counterfeit. Same thing there. You have got that's awful,
A holographic window.
yeah. You've got effects on the cartridge label, which are very hard to reproduce at a low cost. So therefore, that doesn't get bootlegged. That's an easy way to tell. For Heart Gold and Soul Silver specifically, if you hold one of them up to the light, the cartridge should actually be a clear purple.
Huh.
So
I
you
wonder what one
can't
that
tell straight away, but if you hold it up and catch the light through it, you'll be able to see it. So we can see 2 versions of Pokemon Platinum
I'm
here.
struggling to see what the difference was.
The label's slightly stretched. The dimensions are a little bit off. So always
I wouldn't know
bring it
that.
up-
I wouldn't know that looking at it.
It's a very good bootleg. But always, we've got phones in our pockets now. You can bring up a legitimate copy. There's also a Reddit thread, which I can't remember now. I'll post it in our Discord.
I don't put my phone in my pocket.
But it is a Reddit thread where you can upload a photo and say, is this real? And people there will go yes or no.
Huh?
And actually help you out.
And they'll be like, nah, it's fake. I'll buy it off you $20.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad app if someone had the money and the time. Like you take a photo using Google Lens or something of this cartridge and it tells you whether it's fake or real.
I think it might already do that.
Really?
I
Google
think so.
Lens?
Yeah.
Man, that'd be amazing if it did. Makes this whole segment moot. Oh, look at that crusty
Whoa.
buildup.
I think you mean moo.
Nintendo.
I love a Nintendo. Look at that crusty screw in the top there.
Why does it say Bentendo?
All right, finally, the Switch. There has been Switch games which have been bootlegged.
Has there?
Yep. So you know what the easiest way to tell whether a cartridge is real or not with the
I
Switch?
do.
Oh, is it lick the shit out
Give
of
it a good lick. Give it a good old kiss.
Because they coated these things, didn't they?
They have a really acrid, awful taste to them. And it was because the cartridges are so small and because they're a family system. If someone leaves them out and you've got a little sibling or a pet and that comes along and puts it in their mouth, they'll spit it out straight away so they won't choke on it.
Until you get that sadistic kid that likes black jelly beans too. Then they're all about them Switch games.
Nothing wrong with Aniseed. Here we can see Alana Pierce, Australia's own Alana Pierce, one of the writers on God of War Ragnarok, Alana Pierce. What an amazing person Alana Pierce is. I believe she was the first one.
I think you need to say her name again.
She was the first one to actually lick it.
Really?
And find it out, yeah.
First one ever. Surely there was people at Nintendo that licked them.
No, the story goes that she was, it might even be this one, she was at IGN late one night and she was just bored and she thought, oh, I wonder what it tastes like, and licked it and went, oh, and then she jumped on her computer and made this video and it blew up.
I don't know how much I can trust a person that gets bored and decides to lick whatever's in front of them. That's going to get weird and get you in trouble.
You've never gone, oh, I wonder what that tastes like.
To things that aren't food?
Yeah.
No.
You've never licked anything just to see what...
That's really odd to me, especially because you've got kids.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I lick the things that aren't food.
I mean,
That's weird.
I don't know. It's like something in your brain doesn't tick over and go, yeah, that's forbidden. I wonder what that tastes like.
I feel... No.
Really?
I feel like to do that, you had to have heard somewhere that it tastes bad. Otherwise, there's no...
But someone did it first, and I think Alana Pierce was the first one to do that.
I reckon it must have been released somewhere. There must have been a leak somewhere or something to say that Nintendo had made it taste bad, and she was the first person. Because no one would do that without.
I remember
having a reason?
very vividly when I bought my launch Switch and Breath of the Wild. On the bus on the way home, I was reading an article that said, Switch games taste awful. So I pulled out my collector's edition of Zelda, opened it up, pulled the cartridge out, licked it, and then spent the last 10 minutes on my bus journey going,
How funny would it have been if you got it home didn't work now?
How funny would it be if you licked it and then vomited into your collector's edition?
oh, that would have been awful. But you know what did happen to my collector's edition of Zelda?
Yeah,
What?
In the heat, the Master Sword statue that came with it melted.
Oh, wow.
It got so hot that summer that my Master Sword statue literally just
Went limp.
melted and collapsed.
Do you know how much those complete sets are worth nowadays?
A lot.
Yeah, like $900. And lastly, matching numbers between the middle section of the sequence on the front and the left section of the sequence of the back. These numbers should be matching. That's how you can tell whether they've got two separate halves and put them together into an SD. Because obviously they're just SD cards, so it's really easy to flash them onto there. So far, Virtual Boy and 3DS games appear to be safe from piracy.
Do you know why no one's pirated a Virtual Boy game?
Because...
There's no point. No one wants to play them?
No, there is, because some Virtual Boy games are super expensive.
Oh, okay.
Like Wario on Virtual Boy is like $400. It's a big, rare game. Because it had, again, limited print runs of games shoot up. The GameCube, Wii, and Wii U also appear to be safe. But to be sure, you can hold a disc up to the light and look at the inner ring, and you'll see some writing there embedded on the disc itself, not the actual art. Somewhere in this text should be an alphanumeric product code that matches a code on the disc art, case, or manual. So there are ways, unless you're like me, who buys a complete game and then goes, you know what, I want my childhood cart to have a home. And you take out the cart that came with the game and you put yours in there.
I'd do that.
So it's in the box and then you sell the
And
one
then you
that means
lick
nothing.
the other one.
That's right.
You're weak because you're a weirdo who licks stuff.
But yeah, as always be sure to check the internet, check various... If it doesn't look right or if it's a deal that's too good to be true, then it probably is.
I like that Reddit thing that you said, although I don't know how to use Reddit.
I have a question.
Yes.
And it's going to be a really weird one.
Yes.
Ooh, good. What's the best kind?
For some reason, I have a memory, and I don't know how true it is. I may have dreamt it. Didn't you guys, before I joined, do a segment where you tested the veracity of like how weird Nintendo cartridges tasted?
No.
No?
No.
I swear it was you
Did
guys.
you watch
Maybe
other shows other than
must be
us?
crazy.
Rude.
Maybe, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Dan. But
Dan probably did it.
It might have been Dan.
so, was it
I don't think I did.
Reddit game verifying is the Reddit one that I go to. That's
Yeah,
really,
I'm an
really
old
good.
man. I'm not really sure what Reddit is.
Remember message boards?
Yes.
It's like that.
Oh, didn't we get rid of them?
No. They lived on in Reddit form.
Ooh.
But you
Shoot
can
it.
have-
Just shoot it and put it out of misery.
No. It took over from Dig.
By the snackiest looking carts and taste tests.
Stankiest.
I think maybe we need to have a 3-course cart meal.
So, an a la carte.
But we've been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast where we bring you the past, present, and future of video game news. And some of us eat pizza on live streams when, like, we don't want to hear that saliva chewing salaciousness coming over the airwaves. That's not going to help. You should know by covering it up, it doesn't stop it. There's still a small chance that it'll get through. But this isn't all we do. Floppy, what do you do?
Eat a heap of pizza. I like that. Thanks so much to going to me first. There's obviously the logical choice there.
That is what you get for ASMRing my show.
I go over to Floppy Plays Games on Instagram and post photos of pickups that I've had or games that I have and enjoy. The last few I think I've got there since the last show was that was my Snake's Revenge. Mm-hmm. That thanks to Ben and V that I've got.
Metal Gear.
What was the one before that?
The one before that is Resident Evil.
Oh, Resident Evil 4 on the PC, which a friend of mine dropped off to me at work, which
Nice.
was awesome as a gift. Thank you very much. Before that one, I think, what was before that one, Anto?
Before that one is Taiko.
Oh, Taiko no Tatsujin. That is such a fun thing to just bash the crap out of while you... I was doing it to Super Mario theme.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was so good. But they also have the opening theme song for Neon Genesis episodes,
All right.
which is very, very cool. But yeah, that's what I do. I go over there and post pictures of stuff and things that are cool.
Anto!
Hello.
What do you post
Well,
On
the
your-
most recent thing for myself
on your Dino fans?
is on Final Fantasy. We don't have a Dino Only fans, not yet.
Was it Dino Only fans?
Dino Only fans.
Dino Only fans. I'm going to register that trademark. Dino Only
The,
fans.
the thing I've posted most recently is not Final Fantasy related. I found this in Target that says Nintendo Sonic 4-inch figures, and I was very offended.
We live in an alternate reality.
Apparently. But yeah,
I was
this
about to go like, why is that offensive? It took me so long to go. I'm like, oh, Nintendo.
Those two names should never be together.
Except unless it's Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but they're fighting then, and
Yeah.
they're toys.
But yeah, this is my stuff. It's mostly, I mean, I also platinumed all of FF7 on PS5 again last week.
Again, why do you bother platinuming again?
Because it's fun.
So are other games.
No. No,
I
they're
like the
not.
way I constantly get slung crap for playing Fortnite, but Anto can platinum.
I just
a game.
gave him crap then.
Yeah, but not enough. Like, do it more.
I think
Be
it's
more
because
vicious.
you've given me enough crap about Final Fantasy in the
you have.
year and a bit that I've done this.
As if I would. I'm like the nicest guy I know.
That's a hell of a lie.
But yeah, like this is my page. I haven't done much with it recently. I've been very lax on it because I've just been not wanting to participate in social media.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. So you can head on over to Mr. Benjamin,
Yeah, head on over to Mr. Benjamin, right here.
where I usually post my pickups that I get throughout the week. And when I don't and I need content, I just go to my collection and go, hey, what can I take a photo of? So we can see on the screen here my little 1994 Pikachu picture frame on the right. And next to it is my 1996 Pikachu alarm clock.
That Pikachu looks fake.
That's what Pikachu used to look like. Little
Fake.
Chunkachu. Little podgy
Thickachu.
Pikachu. Little
Pikachu.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little Pikachu, little electric mouse.
That Pikachu is thick with two C's, mate.
Yeah, he's a chunky.
Yeah, junky boy.
Also have put up recently the place where I take all my photos. If you have gone over to Mr. Benjamin on Instagram, you'll notice that they are situated on a glass top, and that glass top is actually of my 1977 Taito Space Invaders 2-player cabinet, which I do a lot of my other work and stuff on.
I've played
because
that.
It's freaking awesome. It's a great machine. It's up and running.
It's weird that the screen's broken. Look at all those lines.
No, that's the cellophane used to give it colour.
Oh.
You know that. And it's even got the Taito key. It's very rare. It's very good. It's a good time. Everyone should drool at my photos. But I also do stuff over... Oh, I also got an Amiibo. I went out doing some video game hunting. Found absolutely
Wolf Link.
nothing besides Wolf Link for $3.
Is that when you got rained out?
Yeah, absolutely drenched. But I might be going out this Sunday to Brighton Markets, have a look and see what's around. And then heading over to Bad Game Arts. That's Bad Game Art with an S on the end.
Haven't looked at these for a while.
Yeah, so one I put up the other day, Draconis. So this is where I find the worst video game art from the 90s and early 2000s, and there's plenty of it.
I like that someone's just learned to shade and got really excited by it.
Yep, so I've put here, I don't know who I'm supposed to be scared of on this cover, Mr. Vaney or the guy with a penis on his nose.
What? Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know who the good guy is here.
I don't think there is one.
No,
No matter who wins, we lose.
that's the tagline, I think.
I think that was also for one of our prime minister like elections type slogan campaign things back in the day.
All of them, isn't it?
Yeah, whoever wins, we
Townsy
lose.
just said it looks like someone fighting a hemorrhoid.
It's like they're fighting in a hemorrhoid.
What was the one before that?
Is a game fan. We've
It's that blue TV thing again from
Yeah,
that
it's-
Sonic page.
Chuck Rock, yep. So Mr. Deltoids and Pectorials is making his comeback on this cover of Game Fan. I really like the sky. They just went, what does the sky look like? Yeah, right. Blue and white. That'll do. Put some pink rocks
Let's
in
just make a pattern and then repeat it.
there. It's almost like if you look at the hills and how they join into the sky, it's clear they've
No
just...
depth.
Yep. It's just formed straight up. And they're also taller than all those palm trees.
Yeah. What's the next one?
I
you
think
saw
the
the
next
last
one's
one.
an old one from...
It's with the Happy Dino.
love it so much.
Happy Dino. Anyway, head on over to Bad Game Arts on Instagram. I post them up there when I remember or when I come across them. It's a fun time. Everyone has a celebration.
time.
They have party poppers.
Celebrate
They
good times.
go
Come on.
on a rave, get the glow sticks out, and rave all night. But if you like raving, you should rave with the coolest people we know, and that's our Patreons, who we keep forgetting to thank.
We love our Patreons. Thank you. Thank you to our Patreons. If you would like to be a Patreon, you can head over to hackthedino.com, click the little Patreon button, and join as a Patreon and become a member of our cool little Discord that we've got going on.
The Patoots.
The Patoots. You can become a hackadactyl. I think that's what they're called now.
Oh, they're all hackadactyls, but if you're a Patoot, you're special.
Ooh. If you feel inclined, you may join at a monetary level. Different levels give you different benefits, such as names getting read out, which I haven't got up in front of me. Sorry. You do? Would you like to do the honours?
Sure, we would like to thank Ash Knight, Carrot Knight, Dylan the Villain, Triple Indy, Mike Towns, and Game Boy Dan.
All those dollary dues that you guys are kind enough to send over help us to keep things like lights going, cameras on,
Yay.
wonderful effects like that. Thank you, right there happening.
That costs $80,000.
So thank you very much.
One effect.
If you want a second one, you know what you got to do.
We've been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast. And until next time, remember this very important life lesson.
Yes.
When life gets you down,
Yes.
you got to dust yourself back up.
Yes.
And then what do, Floppy?
Shake twice,
Shake what?
because anything more is
Playing with a horse.
yes.
Really? Horse?